A community as a whole is made up of families. It's made up of individuals, of children, of people living together. And when you have a community where there's a breakdown inside each home, where each individual is dealing with their own issues, where there's not an opportunity to kind of get ahead of those emotions, then you have, these cycles where a parent is not able to parent their child because they weren't parented. And then that child grows up and doesn't have the skills that they need to parent their children. So that's why we call HGP Healthy Generations Project, because it's about creating a healthier generation ongoing. HGP helps to address toxic stress by helping children to become more resilient to it. We can't step inside every home and fix what might be going on in the home. We can't stop, for example, the violence in this community. We can't solve the issues of poverty or racism. But what we can do is give parents and give households tools they can use. So we have what we call our 5 protective factors. And what we mean by protection is, what can we do to protect the child? It's something in between the stress and the child. So we have 5 things: good nutrition, positive activities, non-toxic environments, nonviolence communications both in the home and in the community, and then putting education first. So we believe that those 5 things, if you can incorporate them into your home and into your lifestyle, helps a child to deal with the stresses that they already have.
I noticed growing up, I was like, I know I was stressed. And I don't want more kids to be stressed, because when they're stressed and they grow up, they tend to go down the wrong path. So at least I'm here to help them get stress-free.
So toxic stress is stress that is kind of ongoing violence, maybe in the home or in the community, having a parent that is addicted to substances, living in poverty. These all creates conditions for toxic stress.
So children who grow up under conditions of high stress, while their language and other learning functions may actually do fine, a lot of them will say, I can't do math. The child's brain becomes trained to be on alert. That means that their fight or flight system is overactive. Now that overactivity is necessary for survival in that situation, but there is a trade-off. And the short-term trade-off is that when the brain is on high alert for danger, some of the other systems necessarily have to go offline.
As you know, where we live, our environment, it's like a lot of these kids are fatherless. They don't have fathers at home. And me, like being a father and the only male in the group, and it's like I have that fatherly image that I give to the kids. And I watched a lot of kids in here grow up, and it's my way of giving back to the community.
Some of the requirements to become a community health leader are that you have to live on the property and you have to attend all of the workshop classes. There are 8 of them, once a week for 8 weeks. And then you have to pass an exam.
We know that peer-to-peer models, you get better results because rather than some expert telling you need to do this or you need to do that, hearing from someone who's on your level just really allows the change to sink in and to happen more quickly than it would in a more traditional intervention.
Here, it's like I actually have to get the kids' attention and make sure they're on the same page with me. And sometimes they're not always on the same page as you, and they're a million places at a time, and you have to have patience to learn how to get them here with you so that way you can begin to work with them. So that's a skill that HGP has definitely taught me, is patience, and I'm so thankful for it.
I participate in the HGP activities because I learned to be active within the community, and so HGP kind of gave me that opportunity to kind of make a change or be a part of the change from within and work the way out.
So families are shown different behaviors or different activities that that they can do with their children and in their own homes. So I think that that's just modeling that and providing those examples. I think that's the largest benefit that the parents can have, because then they can see that, and then obviously they're not just practicing it at the HGP activities. They're also hopefully taking it home and creating and proliferating that sense of calm and stress on education and things like that in their own home setting.
It teaches me to, even with my child, just to do it that way. So we're supposed to be teaching them, but I'm learning as well from it.
Everything about HGP is a valuable asset to the community because, first of all, we say the blessing. We wash up. We wash our hands. We say the blessing before we eat our food. We let them know to appreciate the food, that is nutritious, is healthy for their bodies. And then we feed the community, you know. It doesn't cost them anything. They have a place to come for an hour to relax. It takes some of the pressure off the parents because they don't have to cook. They can bring their children as family and children-family bonding time, you know? And we don't have a lot of that going on in our community. I can't say what goes on behind closed doors, but for that 1 hour, we have their full attention, you know? And the families, we sit them together at the table, you know, and then we serve them. I think it's quality. It adds quality to the family. I think it's wonderful. I love it.
My favorite part is to know different parents and to be socializing with them, and I get to see the kids that he usually play with, and I love kids. I love being with kids.
So the parent-child activities are, built around these 5 protective factors. So they seem really simple. It's like, you just come and sit and have a nice meal and play with your child, and then you go home. But there's so much happening in that. And so each one of the activities exemplifies as much of those 5 protective factors as possible. So when you come in, you're always getting a good meal. And the nutrition is important for developing brain.
For me, my work schedule is so hard. I'm tired always, and for me, I could go to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday classes, and there's food. I don't need to cook. I just need to worry about my son. That's all.
The development of sort of deeper thought and reflection requires safety and security. Normal exploratory behavior also on a biological basis requires security. And you can see that in, say, a 2-year-old who won't explore a new environment until he or she is sure that mother is there and is being reassuring.
You know, well, a lot of the kids, what they're doing is they're learning from us. They're looking at their parents, and if they see the parents are into it, then they tend to try to get into it as well. I don't think they really understand it, but they calm themselves down and try to participate in it. We model the behavior that we want our kids to see. And if we show them that, then they'll learn from us.
So the walking school bus is basically, we worry about our kids. Now we know what kind of neighborhood this is, and we also know that a lot of kids miss school because sometimes the parents are doing other things, so they don't take them. So we like to volunteer to take their kids to school to make sure that the kids get to school on time and also are able to eat breakfast, because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So we try to make sure that they get there on time to eat breakfast.
You see the difference? The kids can relate to each other. They can bond together, and they can walk to school, and they don't have to look over their shoulders. They don't have to worry about nothing. And they can carry on a conversation with each other without even worry. I said, well, think about it. If the kids was walking by themselves, what they would have to go through.
And the playing group and the reading group, it's not, it is a lot on leading a stress-free life, but it's also about the parent and the child having a greater bond,
An unplanned benefit of HGP has been that it's actually helping to provide mentoring between the community health leaders and the children that they serve. The children love them, they adore them, and they just feel so supported and so cared for and so looked after. And they don't always get that in other parts of their life. And so it is the HGP activities have indirectly provided this mentoring to the young children, which has been a really unexpected but much welcomed benefit.
Really feel excited when I see the little 6-month-old, 7-month-old babies, how they sit there with their mouths wide open and they're listening to story time. I love it. I can never get enough of that. How interested they are in the story and how they react and how they start clapping because they're enjoying it, you know? That does it for me. It doesn't take much.
The changes I've noticed is some parents like that wouldn't be kind of out with their kids, you know what I mean? Like socializing and things like that. I've seen them just from being in the group, like they've opened up. Like we have the activities for the kids, but it seems like the parents are getting a lot out of it too. Like they're finally, like they're talking to other parents or just communicating about the kids. And so I see kind of socializing just opening up a little bit, guards coming down. It's a positive part of the Hill.
I think it's important to have community is because if we don't have community, how are we going to build a friendship around community? How are we going to grow up and not knowing who we live with, and how can we build up friendships to grow and watch over each other?
I've seen in myself the fact that I am a whole lot happier. I'm more energetic, I'm more out there, even if I'm tired and I don't want to get up in the morning. I'm like, kids, they love me, I love them, I gotta go see them. And they help me get up in the morning, honestly. So it's not the fact that I need them, but I need them. Just the fact that I'm socially more aware. I see people, I say hi more. I'm not just walking past people, I say hi. I used to be shy, so I used to just keep in my shell. So now I'm more open. I'm more outgoing. There we go.
We're here for the people. That's what we're here for. So if you come, then that would really help support what we're doing, because that's all we ask is that you come and participate.
I would love to see this kind of focus in other communities on children's emotional health. I think that it is the basis of all of our work towards improving distressed communities.
I would like to see HGP grow, and as the younger generation comes behind it, each one teach one, and it becomes like the thing that's being initiated in most of the communities.
People love their children. They want to have what they didn't have. This makes me cry, but they want to have that. So we try to give it to them 3 nights a week.
It's not really just my community, it's mostly all the communities like these. We're mostly minorities living in a certain area. And my hope is that we can, stop all the violence and the fighting. So the things that I would want for the community is just for people to get along, and to worry about the kids more, to actually put more attention on the kids, because they are our future.